morning, OCHR members and guests. I'm Jessica Bryan, your president, and I am very happy to welcome you to Tech Tools Tips and Tricks. Today featuring Mark Saunders, who's not only a realtor, but he's North Carolina's technology guru. I want to remind you that our THECHEW meetings are free and they're once a month. They're also recorded. So if you miss anything that Mark tells you about today, you can always go back and access it on our YouTube channel. And I'm going to go ahead and post the link to our YouTube channel in the chat box. And you can always access it that way, but also Ashley will put that on our weekly top 5, the actual link to Mark's talk. Now for the meeting today, Mark is going to be telling us a lot about technology. If you have a burning question, go ahead and ask it while he's talking, but we do know that there's a lot to cover. So if you have a question that can hold, if you would wait until the end of his presentation, that would really help. And put your question into the chat box, and then we can just read those questions and get general answers. Again, thank you for joining us today, and I'd like to introduce now our special guest presenter, Mark Saunders. Now, Mark is a graduate of Appalachian State University. When he graduated, after he graduated, he became a full-time realtor, and that was in 2005. He serves in the realtor community by being a participant on the board of directors for the Winston-Salem Association of Realtors, but he's also very active in the entire state of North Carolina and with the state association as well. He's a member of North Carolina's Association of Realtors Young Professionals Network, and he has served as vice chair and chair of that group. He's received a number of awards, maybe not the rewards, but the awards and forms of recognition in his career, which include in 2010 and 2013, he received the Winston-Salem Association of Realtors President's Award for Outstanding Service and Dedication in the field of property management. In 2013, he was also a recipient of the National Association of Realtors Young Professionals Network of the Year winner. In 2016, Winston-Salem's Association of Realtors Property Manager of the Year. 2016, North Carolina Realtors Innovation and Entrepreneurial Excellence Award. And then in 2018, he was selected to the Triad Business Journal 40 Under 40 Business Leaders class. In addition to his career, Mark is devoted family man, enjoying spending time with his wife and 2 young children. Mark, you're a busy guy, and I so appreciate your taking the time to speak with us today. We are all so grateful. Please, everyone, welcome Mark Saunders.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for that nice intro. Good to see all of you that I can see. Feel free to cut your camera on if you want, but if you don't, that's fine too. So thank y'all so much for having me. I'm glad to be able to talk about some technology today. I've been doing a lot of CE, so I'm kind of glad to get out of the CE loop for a little bit and show you all a few things that I'm using in my business each and every day. So if you've never been to any of my classes before, I do enjoy people talking. The only time I quote the great Bill Gallagher's talk out, talk up. So throughout the class today, if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to jump in, ask. I'm going to throw a lot at you. A lot of my classes, I kind of overload people. The stuff that I'm going to talk about is all stuff that I use each and every day in my 2 real estate companies that I have. So let me share my screen. We will jump right into it. And like I said, if you have questions throughout anything, let me know. Let me get my screen set up here. If there's anything in the chat box that I miss, say, like Johnny says, hey, Johnny, we used to work together in Winston-Salem. If there's any questions in the chat box I missed, Jessica, feel free to jump in and holler at me. I can stop. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen here. See my screen. All right, everything's working so far. It's great when things work. So real quick about me. I have my own real estate companies, actually have 2 here in beautiful Winston-Salem. Saunders Realty, we specialize in residential sales. Saunders Property Management, residential property management, mostly single family. My background was in property management when I got started. And then I also do some teaching for a school that I started up online called the Real Estate Brokers Academy. You've already talked a little bit about me, so I'll skip right through that slide. Let's get right into it. I want to throw some stuff at you, get your thoughts, comments on how you can incorporate some of this technology into your business. I'm going to show y'all firsthand how I've done it in my business and been fortunate enough to really grow our companies. I love this quote. I use this quote all the time. Learning and innovation go hand in hand. The arrogance of success is to think that what you did yesterday will be significant for tomorrow. How true is that? William Pollard was definitely a visionary, 1828 to 1893. Can you think of companies that just thought, oh, things will always be the same. Things won't change. We'll always do well. Yeah, I can think of a few companies that thought that, right? So you need to always be innovating. Netflix, I love talking about Netflix. Netflix realized that mail order movies were not going to be around forever. So they pivoted, they innovated. Now they basically become Hollywood. So they were always looking for changes. Poor Radio Shack did not do that. So you need to always be trying new things. And I've been saying throughout COVID that COVID has accelerated a lot of things. And what I mean by that is like, for example, the Real Estate Commission was about 3 or 4 years away from doing online courses, online CE and all of that. COVID hit. Now they were doing it within 3 or 4 months. You were seeing a lot more use of technology, and it really sped up a lot of things. So in our GRI classes, I teach the technology GRI class. We're seeing a lot of agents coming in and learning about all these new technologies and how to incorporate in their business because things have gone more remote. Now, when COVID's over, I think a lot of stuff's still going to be remote. You agree with that? We're still going to see a lot of video calls. I do a lot of Zoom meetings with buyers to kind of go over everything. We really like it. You have to be open to incorporate some of that. So this first part, I'm going to run you through 5 or 6 of some of my favorite programs. These are programs that I use all the time, can really set you apart from other people. So the first one I want to show you is BombBomb. Has anybody ever heard of BombBomb or used BombBomb? All right. How do y'all use it? I'm curious. I see some heads nodding. Unmute yourself. Tell me how you're using BombBomb in your business. Don't be shy. Y'all gonna make me do all the talking. Okay. All right. So BombBomb, the cool thing with BombBomb, it allows you to incorporate videos directly into your communication with your clients. So I use it in Gmail, for example. I'm a big Google fan. So if you use Gmail or anything, I want to talk about some tips and tricks to really help you with your email. Do y'all use Gmail? Give me a thumbs up if you use Gmail. Awesome. I got some good tips to help you out with that. Awesome. I see your thumbs up there, Rachel. Awesome. So with BombBomb, it incorporates directly into your Gmail. So this is actually right out of my email. I can write an email just like everybody else. 100 emails, that's depressing there, right? But you can hit send video. So when you do that, it actually cuts your camera on. And now I'm able to talk directly to that online lead or the property owner that I'm dealing with, somebody that they're not able to, I get to see a lot. We get to have more of that face-to-face conversation. So here's an example. This is a listing email, which is basically a canned response or a template that I already have in Gmail because I'm all about working smarter, not harder. And then I just incorporate a video on top of it. Really sets you apart. Other emails and everything that we use. Let's see. This is actually when they click on the video, this is exactly what it takes you to. And then you can just— Hey, Ann, this is Mark Saunders with Saunders Realty. Linda gave me a call last week and said— And then we're just talking directly to people and their email and everything. Really sets you apart. Imagine if you're a person looking to buy a house and you sent a couple responses to different agents and you've gotten 4 or 5 of the basic canned response, hey, can I help you? Now all of a sudden you see a person talking directly to you. Really sets you apart, differentiates you among other people. This is another one, another canned response that we use for our property management. The email itself is already written up, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So I can turn these emails around within 2 or 3 minutes of getting off the phone with somebody, but it looks like I spent a lot of time. This is another one, kind of just the property management lead. They click on it, it pulls it up. And this one actually goes over just kind of our video.
This Oceanside
here. There we go. This one goes over kind of just a quick overview of what our property management services are and everything. I'm a huge fan of video. If you've been in any of my classes, you've heard me talk about video. I use video, to be honest with you, to be lazy. Have you ever thought of using video to be lazy? Because if you're like me, you're probably explaining the same thing over and over again. And the first idea that came to me was when I was really doing property management, that was my main focus. I got tired of explaining the property management agreement. So what I did was I sat down at my computer and I made a video going step by step through our property management agreement. And so now when I get a lead that comes in, I can easily just say, here's the Cliff Note version, but I want to make sure you understand exactly what you're getting into. I'm going to send you about a 20-minute video and I'm going to walk you line by line through the contract. And most clients are like, wow, that's great. Nobody's ever done that before, but I'm also doing it because I'm tired of explaining the contract, right? So use video that way, kind of an internal thing. And that's exactly how we're using BombBomb when we're reaching out to new clients and everything. So videos, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the videos and everything that we're using. But here's some tips that I'll give you. My number one tip that I tell a lot of people about Gmail. So it looks like most of y'all are using Gmail. So my number one tip is templates. It used to be called canned responses in Gmail. Now it's called templates. And what this does is it allows you to write one email, but use it multiple times so I don't have to rewrite it. So here's a tip. If you're going to use a canned response in Gmail, this is the number one template kind of canned response you need to use in your business. 90% of consumers say buying decisions are influenced by online reviews. Would you agree with that? Do you look up reviews when you go to buy anything on Amazon or wherever you're looking up reviews? 90% of consumers' decisions are influenced by that. So that makes me question, do you have kind of a review process to get reviews for your business? If you don't, you're missing out on a really, really good opportunity. For example, our property management business, I track and ask questions. Anytime a new lead calls us, hey, how did you hear about it? I can honestly say 80 to 90% of the new leads that we get for our property management company, they say, I read your reviews on Google, okay? We have a process. We've been fortunate enough. We now have 75 five-star reviews on Google. So if you Google Winston-Salem Property Management, we're fortunate enough. We're the highest ranked property management company in the area because we have this process in place to get these reviews. But get the reviews. You can use them in all types of marketing, which I want to show you another tool here in a little bit called Canva that helps you turn these reviews into marketing pieces and everything that you can do. So there's where we send them one. Go to Google, leave us a review. Zillow, I'm up to 81 five-star reviews off Zillow. Facebook, we recently split our company in two at the beginning of last year, but it's starting to catch back up. We've got 39 reviews on Facebook, 4.9 out of 5. I had one person leave me a bad review because we just didn't want to manage their property, didn't even do business with us, but hey, it's online reviews. It's what happens sometimes. But the key is having a process in place to do this. This is exactly how we build our online reviews. If you go into Gmail and you go into settings, so click on the little gear icon and then go into your settings. So this is my settings in my Gmail account. Go all the way to the right and go to advanced, okay? And if y'all need me to, I'm more than happy to pull up my Gmail account and show y'all step by step how to do this if y'all want me to. So y'all just let me know. I'm going to get y'all talking one way or the other today. So go to advanced and then go down to templates, okay? And you want to enable it. Templates and then enable. So once you do that, now when you're writing up an email, you're putting an email together. Hey, Carl, where you go down here. This is a normal email. You're going to see this new little icon at the very bottom. Hopefully you can see it on my screen here, the little down arrow. You will click that, and now it gives you all these templates. These are all templates that we use in our business that we have written up one time. We just personalize it because I don't want to write the whole thing over and over again. Just streamline the whole process. So right here, some of them, and you'll probably see it on here somewhere. Possible new listing. There's my new listing template that we just click a button and it goes straight in there. All right. So this is my review template. So this is the template. When I click asking for a review, Thank you again for allowing me to help you your home. You both were great to work with. And, you know, through trial and error, I change this occasionally, but we changed the name, obviously, make it personal, and say, I ask for 3 reviews on every email that I send out like this. And you need to decide, where do you want to send people to leave you a review? For me, I like Google, Zillow. I won't say I like Zillow because Zillow and Facebook. Those are the 3 sites that I use to get reviews. All right. That's where people are looking. So I provide detailed, easy as possible. This is how to leave us a review. And you have to think, you want to make it as easy as possible. So there's the links that when they click that link, they go exactly where they need to go to leave a review. Here's a tip. If you're asking for 2 people, said if you both, it might have got cut off on here, but it says, if you can both take time to leave me a review, that would be great. Best case scenario, I get 6 reviews off that 1 email. Okay. So go ahead and ask. All they can say is no. They might only leave you a couple reviews. That's fine. But ask. If they're really happy, they're more than happy to do it. I tell them, copy and paste your first review and paste it to the other ones. So you might get 6 reviews off of this 1 email. Okay.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
Quick question. How do you create the template?
Whenever you activate it, and I can jump in and I'll show you that if you want to see it, but you basically write an email just like you normally would, but instead of sending it, you click that down button and hit save as. Gotcha. And you save it, you rename it. Now here's a tip. When you're writing your first couple templates, remove your email signature. Okay. Because think about it. What's going to happen if you leave that email signature there on that template when you apply it again? It'll be on there twice, right? So any templates that you write up, delete out your email signature, okay? Save it, and then when you apply it next time, it'll work perfect. Okay, great question. Any other questions on these? I see some of y'all taking notes, so we got some good tips right off the bat, right? Awesome, awesome, good, good. So think about where you want to leave reviews. You might like Yelp. I don't like Yelp. I don't like kind of how they do reviews and all of that stuff. But I would say pick 2 or 3 websites you want to target, put the link directly in there and send people directly to it. Okay. Another tip about your email, and I'll go into my email here in a little bit and just show you how I have mine set up. We need to get some more emails, don't we, throughout the day? You think we've passed the whole email signature thing, keep our email overload, just trying to keep up with all of it. I firmly believe one of the best marketing pieces a person can have is their email signature, okay? Because it's something that's in front of people all the time, right? And they're going to see it. I mean, they talk about in marketing. I went to school at Appalachian State, and the rules of marketing, and somebody needs to hear it or see it 7 to 8 times to remember it. Well, guess what? You're emailing them probably more than that in over a couple of days. So go ahead and put a pretty good email signature together so they can kind of see it and you start getting built into their brain as the go-to realtor. So this is my email signature. I have it linked out. I have some article links. These were blog posts when I won awards that Jessica kind of mentioned at the very beginning of the class. So write that up. If you win anything, you do anything cool, write it up as a blog post and then just put it in your email signature. So if it's the first time, somebody can click on there and say, oh, he was property manager of the year. Kind of sets me apart when somebody asks me for property management services and I send them this and I send them a video where I'm talking to them and then they can easily read more about what's going on. That's building credibility throughout the whole thing, I think. So those that you can do that there. Add your social links, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, YouTube, big fan of YouTube, links to Facebook, go ahead and get connected. And then sometimes I get crazy busy. And so I have a calendar that, hey, if you want to go ahead and set up a time to talk, click here. It allows them to go ahead and schedule time with me. Because one thing that drives me crazy is getting an email. Hey, Mark, we would love to grab lunch. Okay. How about tomorrow at 12? Oh, no, I can't do tomorrow. How does Friday look? No, I'm out of town Friday. And this goes on for 20 emails. Have you ever gotten into that kind of email log doing that? So by using a program I'm getting ready to show you, there's a lot of different ones out there that do this, but it eliminates all that. People can see my calendar. They can't see what I have scheduled. And this might not be a good idea if you don't have very much scheduled, because if they click on your calendar and you're wide open, they might be thinking, all right, are they really busy doing real estate if every single time's available, right? So, but just kind of think about that. But if your calendar is booked up and you have 2 spots available, you have kind of a scarcity thing now. They're like, oh, I need to get on this person's calendar. They got some stuff going on. So a program that'll help you make this signature like this is called WiseStamp. It's free for like the first signature or 2 you want to use. So WiseStamp, it integrates directly into Gmail. Okay. Vyte, VYTE.in is the calendar app that I've used. Calendarly is another one. There's different programs out there that do all of this, but it just helps get this all scheduled and on your calendar and everything. So when they click on that book a time with Mark, now it says, what do you want to meet about? Right. And on the way I have mine set up, they have to pick 2 or 3 time slots. Okay. So I want to have the option to kind of pick and choose what works best for me as well. So 2 or 3 times, what's some messaging. When they click a time or date, here's what they will see. All right. So it'll show I'm busy at certain times. So they can say, all right, I can do 2 slots here, maybe 1 on Friday or whatever. It just helps a lot to get this stuff scheduled and out there. Anybody using a calendar booking app or anything like that? Okay, just an idea, just depending on how busy you get and everything. So let me, I'll cut this off. I'll show you kind of an overview. Let me get this down before we go into my next program. I'll pull up my Gmail and actually show you a couple things, because Gmail does have a lot of cool features. And just like most of the Google products, they have so many cool features, but they don't really tell you about them. You kind of have to figure it out on their own. So,
Hey, Mark, excuse me, but
Sure.
Michelle had the question about what that program was. Was that WiseStamp that you were using?
WiseStamp is the one that helps you do your email signature. So think of that as email signature. Vyte was the calendar app. That was the calendar booking app. Okay.
Thank you.
Great question. If you have any other questions on that, feel free to jump in and ask. So here's my Gmail. And so I kind of keep it organized. I have what's called priority inbox, and you can go into settings and set that up. So everything that I have that's important and unread kind of stays at the top of my email. Okay. Once I look at it, it falls down to important. And then all the other stuff, because I have taught my email how to scan what emails are important and what is not, it would fall down into this everything else. So right now, I'm actually doing pretty good today. I'm only down to 27 emails. Sometimes that can get absolutely crazy. But if you go under settings and see all settings, this is how you cut on the Canva responses or the templates that I was talking about. There's advanced. That's the setting that you would go into there. The other one, you can go to inbox settings, and you can see I have priority inbox cut on here.
Mark, we're not seeing your screen. We're
Okay,
seeing all of us instead.
Let me reshare that again.
Okay.
It's great when Zoom actually works. Share. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you can see it now. Awesome. Okay, perfect. So back into my inbox. Let me show you how it looks again. I have it kind of cleaned up a little bit. I've only got 27 emails to get through, but here's how I have mine set up in these different kind of folders. I have important and unread, important, and then everything else. It's called priority inbox. It's something Google rolled out a couple years ago, and it's really, really good. So if you go to settings, see all settings, and this is where you would cut on the canned responses or the templates that I showed you earlier. There's the advanced. But if you go to inbox, you can see mine is set to priority inbox. Okay. So this helps you learn, it learns what's important, what is not. And so it will help you with your email overload. If you wonder what it is, there's a little video here that actually shows you how priority inbox works and everything. I could not imagine going back to the old way of my inbox where everything just comes in and just piles up on you. Okay. There's a lot of times when I can come into mine and basically all the junk is right here in this everything else. And I can just click one button and get rid of it all, 20, 30 emails at once. And I'm done within a minute or so instead of having to go through every one. So a big, big time saver there. One other thing I'll show you before I leave out of here is the cool thing about Gmail. A lot of people don't realize this is you can actually add things onto it. Okay. So who in here uses DocuSign? Raise your hand. Give me a thumbs up if you use DocuSign. Okay. All right. Nobody's using DocuSign. All right. I see one thumb going up. So, okay. There's a couple. There's a couple. So if you use DocuSign and Gmail, you're able to connect those two programs together. Okay. So you can actually see up in the top here, these are called extensions. This is a DocuSign add-on, and you got to have a DocuSign account to add it. But let's see if I've got something here that I can show you. I'll show you this one because it should work on it. This is my workers' comp policy that we're doing. And so there's something on here that I need to, that's not a PDF. If this was a PDF, I could basically click one button and it automatically links it directly to DocuSign, and you're able to electronically sign it right there in your Gmail account. And so really cool feature, kind of streamline it. The way you get these extensions cut on is you'll click the little dots in the corner of Chrome. This is Google Chrome that I'm in. You're going to go to More Tools and then go to Extensions. Okay. Then you're able to add things on to Gmail and actually make it run even better and quicker than before. So you can add on DocuSign. These are all, there's BombBomb, there's LastPass. These are the different apps that work inside of Gmail. Here's a question for you. I'm curious, do y'all have any extensions that y'all use in your business now? Any extensions? Okay. Put it in the chat box if you want to. John, you got anything, any extensions y'all use or Chrome or anything like that? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I think it's an extension. It's called Folio.
Folio. Yep.
Are you familiar with that? It organizes emails into folders for each client or whatever.
Yep. I've heard about that. And it's really cool. You can take something as basic as Gmail and really integrate it with other tools and everything and make it do something totally different if you want. So it's really cool. Gmail is really trying to become the go-to where you can just basically do everything out of your email account, which it's really cool how you can do that. But sometimes I just have to get out of my email because I could literally stay in my email account and work all day long. It's kind of sad. So let's talk a little bit about videos. So does anybody on here do videos? Do y'all do any type of videos or anything? Okay, Jessica's saying she's doing some. What kind of videos do you make? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
So I'm old school. I do them on my laptop and then I just link them, I either put them on YouTube or I send them directly.
Awesome. What kind of topics and what do you talk about in your videos?
So it's usually talking to clients, introducing myself, particularly if they're out of state and we aren't going to have any face-to-face time. So I will introduce myself, talk about my services a little bit to them.
Cool. Awesome. Great. Great. So I'm a big fan of video. I've used video throughout the years to help me grow my business and everything. WeVideo is a new program that I've been using now, probably actually just renewed, so over a year now. WeVideo is a really good, easy to learn, easy to use video editing program, okay? So you can take some basic videos and edit it, and once you get used to it, within 10, 15, 20 minutes, and have a really nice looking video. Did any of y'all see the video that we sent out for this class? Did y'all see that video? Okay. That was all done in WeVideo, sitting in my office in this little corner desk that I have set up, kind of like a YouTube area. And it took me about 20 minutes from filming it to editing it and everything. WeVideo has some really cool things. There's so many different things that you can do. Here's some stuff that I've been working on just to show you.
President-elect Joe Biden has a very ambitious first-time homebuyer program that he has talked about rolling out once he becomes president. Matter of fact, he's already got $25 billion earmarked for this fund, which I'm afraid is not going to work out the way they're hoping.
So these are just content topics and everything. And I go into that video and talk about how we have a supply side issue, not a demand side. We don't have a problem finding buyers. We have problems finding houses and everything. So we kind of talk about that and everything. So when you make these videos like that, these are just topics. I think a lot of times agents just get stuck in the mindset of I'm only going to do videos of my new listings and everything. but there is so much more stuff that you can do out there that can really help push you up into the front of the mind of your clients on what you know and kind of are going over everything. So I do very few actually listing videos and everything like that. I do more content-based videos like this one. Like this was a market update I just put out last month telling you what's going on in the market.
Hey everybody, this is Mark Saunders with Saunders Realty, and we are in May 2021. Spring is here. Clouds of pollen are moving in. Beautiful time in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
So that stock footage that you just saw is all part of WeVideo. So all I had to do to find that image to drop in there was search in the box person sneezing, and that came up. And it's literally that easy. And that music that you hear in the background, it's all part of the program too. So I can just type in audio. I just turn it down to like 3%. So it's just kind of a subtle thing in the background, and all the clips and everything that we put into that, those videos. So I'll try to block off an hour or two a week, and I can do about 10 video topics and then just edit them and roll them out. But this is really good for putting in the like newsletters to your database, putting it out on Facebook, you know, I get quite a few views on Facebook. I don't have too many going directly to YouTube. I think there's 3 things I like and 3 things I don't like about Winston-Salem. I've gotten about 2,000 views on that one. So it just depends on what the topics are and everything. Year in review, it's always interesting to do these.
They're going to seem kind of doom and gloom. Hopefully none of them come together, but this is the way I see the market heading.
And it's always cool to do something like that and then come back and review it at the end of the year and say, all right, this is where we were right. This is where we were off. Okay. So different topics, and, you know, always talk about the things you like and don't like of your town.
I've been living here in Winston-Salem since 2003, and I can tell you it's a really great place to live. I've been here long enough to see the things that's really good and some things that's not very good. So in this video, I wanted to share with you the 3 things that I love about Winston-Salem.
So just different topics, different ideas. I wanted to show you these to kind of get you thinking about the different things that you can do. So I'm curious, what's some topics that y'all talked about? This is where I get to take some of y'all's ideas.
The current market, multiple offers, procedures, you know, what's going on, the craziness.
Absolutely. What to expect. I mean, you know, expect to be putting in 10 offers and might not get anything. So,
Hot issues in the area, hot topics, things that are on people's minds, you know, in neighborhoods.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You should be the go-to person for your area. And so that's kind of how I look at it. I want people to think, especially if they're in my network, they're getting my newsletter and everything. If there's anything real estate related, I want them to come to me and think about it. You know, if there's we're so excited because they're opening a Chipotle literally around the corner from my office. And I've been all over Facebook, like, you know what that new building is? Chipotle, right? And so I want people, when they say, hey, there's a new building, call Mark, see what's going on, be that top of mind contact. And a lot of this stuff helps do that. Any other topics y'all been doing for your videos?
We do interviews with vendors such as closing attorneys, lenders, home inspectors, and then also like local business highlights. So interviews with a business owner or highlighting a new restaurant or coffee shop that went up in the area. Great
idea. Before COVID started, I call it BC. So before COVID, I did a 9-series show online. It's called the Saunders Show because I can't come up with a good name. And we went around and just talked history in our town. And it was amazing. So we talked about the airport in Winston-Salem, which a lot of people don't know the history there. And I was having a lot of people, we put it on Facebook and run targeted ads and everything. I actually had somebody stop me at Walmart and say, hey, I watched your episode the other day. I had no clue who they were. But those kind of contents, we don't even talk about real estate much, but we featured some restaurants. The ones where we featured the restaurants were the coolest because then the restaurants share everything. So those videos actually did better traffic than running ads on them. They did more organic because everybody that worked at the restaurant and all the employees and everybody that likes the restaurant shared it before we could even do the ads on them and everything. So it was a great way, and very rarely do we even talk about real estate. So those are the kind of, so great idea. Any other topics or ideas y'all think about?
Mark, I just wanted to ask you a question.
Hey everybody, this is Mark Saunders with Saunders. I've been living here in
Now
Winston-Salem.
they're all going to play. Okay, sorry about that.
Mark, I wanted to just ask you, do you happen to know, is that is not a free program, WeVideo, is it?
It's the basic version of it is free. So yeah, there's a very limited version of it that's free.
Okay, we can go on and play with it and then decide to purchase it.
Yeah, and then obviously the more you unlock, the more features you get. I have like the business version, which gives me all that B footage, all the images, the audio, and all. But it's very reasonably priced. I forget what it is exactly. I'm thinking like $30 a month, maybe 30 to 40. But don't hold me to that because I pay it all at once to get a discount and everything. So awesome. So the other thing I'm going to tell you that one of my favorite things is in Google Drive. Google Forms. So do any of y'all use Google Forms or anything? Okay, I see Rachel saying, what do you use it for, Rachel?
Surveys, and I have just gone away from Microsoft Office and have just gone to Google. Just as
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So this is the property manager in me. So if any of y'all are property managers, here's a really cool tip. But you can do this as well for listing or buyer agents as well. So this is one way that I use Forms. So normally when I meet with somebody to manage their property, we go over everything. I tell them, what they need in the house. But I realize that you cannot remember all the questions. All right. So what we did was we went back, we brainstormed what's the ideas, what's the questions that we need to know to properly manage this property. So once we sign the property up, we send this to the owner. And just to give you ideas, dear property owner, in order to provide both you and your tenant outstanding property management, there's certain things we need to know about your property. Please take time to fill this out. And you can actually embed videos into this now, by the way. So I could basically talk to a person explaining, what's the address we're managing for you? What year was the house built? I know this information already. I just want to verify it again because, 1978 was an important year. How many bedrooms do you have? How many baths? Will you allow pets? And for example, we tell them what it is. They click yes. Well, this all goes to a spreadsheet that's saved to the property. So now if the owner comes back and says that this pet damaged the house, I never said you could allow pets. Actually, you did on our survey that's tied to our spreadsheet. You see how it kind of covers me too? John, you got a question?
Just a quick suggestion, where you allow pets, if you look at your last line where it says an example, I think it's supposed to be breeds, not breads.
Oh, thank you. We always have to typos. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Sorry to pick you apart.
You're good. So do you know the approximate square footage of your house? There's reasons for all of these questions. Okay. Do you have a fireplace? And then there's all these questions, public or water. Is there internet provided at the property? And then there's a whole other section that we've got down here that you click. If they say there's an HOA, for example, then an HOA questionnaire kind of pops up within it. And so tell us about the HOA. What's included? Is the trash picked up? All of this stuff. So, and then when they're done with all of this, all the responses come back onto a spreadsheet that we can then easily tie into the property. Do you see how you could possibly use this for listings as well? Maybe it's a first-time buyer. Ask them a questionnaire. Think about the questions you want to ask. Is there an area you're wanting to be in? What's your price range? What are you looking for? You can fill all this out and it saves you a ton of time than having to do it all the time. Questions or thoughts on that?
Yeah. One other thing that's really great about Forms, especially if you're sending it out to multiple people, is when you look at your responses up in the top, you see a little green thing and it'll export it into its own spreadsheet, which is wonderful for tracking stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So we have ours already linked to that spreadsheet.
It's
so
automatic. It automatically links it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When you hit submit, that whole thing pulls out. And it's really cool if you do this a lot, like for property management, it works great. I can actually go to statistics on that spreadsheet and it'll break down and tell me, hey, 70% of our houses are 3 bedrooms. 90% of the houses are in this price range, and you can start learning statistics on your own portfolio and everything. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can add in to all of that. So the last one, the apps I wanted to show you, because I don't want to overload you too much, but this one's Canva. Does anybody here use Canva? Okay, awesome. Love Canva. It's a very easy photo editing program that lets you do all kinds of marketing. So here's my account. We're logged into it. We do have the pro version of this, which is still very, very cheap. It is amazing the types of things that you can do software wise now for 20 bucks a month, you know? So this looks familiar to y'all probably. I made it right here in Canva on the class and everything. I had some Mother's Day stuff. So pictures of my kids are in here. We do all kinds of stuff that way. Here are the thumbnails that we make for our YouTube videos. Research has shown if you have a thumbnail that looks really good and highlighted, your clicks will go up. Okay. So really quick, make a thumbnail for your videos, email signatures if you wanted to do anything like that, or letterhead, basically you name it. These are really good things to put on Facebook. You know, this is all stock picture that's right here in Canva, but I'll say, hey, what would you pick, A or B? If you want to get engagements on your posts, do something like that. And people will start putting it. Facebook's going to push that post up because you're getting engagement on it and everything. So that is made right here in here under contract. Y'all saw this before. So this is the thumbnail of the video that I just showed you. So it's really, really easy to put postcards together and all of that. If you have the pro version of it, so let's say, for example, I want to do, I don't know, let's say template. We want to do a Facebook post. You can pick your template, but because you have the pro version, it already saves your images and your colors. So let's say I want to use this one. Okay. I want to use this to make a Facebook post. I want to use this, but obviously I want it to be my brand, my color and everything. So all you have to do, this is not my color. I'm going to click on the color I want to change, click the box. There's my save brand colors. So that's the Saunders Realty Blue. I'm going to click here. This is the gray. And now I'm already halfway done with my, and you can do the same with the fonts as well. You can have your saved fonts because the key, so these are my recently used, these are my brand fonts that I use. So the key when you're doing marketing and everything is consistency. Okay. So everything that we're going to try to put out is usually going to have these colors and our fonts on it. Okay. And the coolest thing on the free version that we use a lot is you can actually remove the background of your picture right there in the program on the paid version of it. So if you want to do a postcard where, you know, your image is there with nothing behind it, it used to have to use Photoshop or something. Now you can just drop that picture in and hit remove background and boom, it's out and you can make it look really, really good. So a lot of those things you saw with me with no background behind me, I did it right here in Canva. Any question? Canva, all of these could basically be a class on themselves. Y'all noticing that? So we could have an hour-long class on Canva and I show you how to do these layouts and all of that. Good job security if you're teaching technology is like, okay, this is like 7 classes we can offer now on all of these apps. So any questions on this?
Just another comment for removing backgrounds. That looks pretty easy. There's also a website out there called removebg.com. You upload the photo, you click a button and it'll remove the background, and that works well also.
Yep. The cool thing with this one, let me share this back with you again.
And I'm not real familiar with the Canva one.
Yeah. So this is in the paid version. I don't know if I've done this one or not, but let's see. Say I want to throw this on here and I'm going to click on the image. See how I've just have the picture selected? I'm going to go to effects, remove background. That's a tricky background because there's different levels and all on it. So let's see what it does. All right. It's doing its magical thing by spinning in circles.
Mark, did you learn this program just by playing with it, or is there a tutorial you took, or?
Pretty much everything I'm showing you is me getting in there and just playing with it.
And just playing with it. Okay.
Yeah, but yes, yeah. So there are some videos
and better resolution.
Yeah. So see how that took out that whole brick wall, right? And so I look a little weird trying to, maybe I want to lean up beside here. There we go. So now you can do whatever you want, or, you know, maybe it doesn't just lay out right. We're going to flip it this way. Flip. No, maybe not. But you can change it however you want to do. I might be bogging down my internet with all my tabs opened up, but you can resize it. It automatically resizes. And another cool thing about this is, let's say, all right, we like this, but I don't want it to be Facebook. I want to resize this directly to maybe a YouTube thumbnail or something. you can just click it and hit resize, and you're pretty much set to now go to the dimensions for YouTube with a click of a button. That's a big time saver if you're doing multiple things. So I can make this Facebook post now a YouTube image. Okay. Thoughts or comments on that? Pretty cool. Mark, you just made my day. That's what I'm here for, Ashley. Quality info. Good. Looks like y'all might want a Canva class. Okay. So there you go. Any other thoughts or comments on this? I've used the free version for Canva for years. Yeah. The free version of Canva will cover a lot of the stuff except the brand kit and the remove the background. So if don't pay for it to start with, get on there and just play with it. Just go on there and make a few social media posts. And the cool thing is too, you know, photos, say I want a picture, home. Let's just do in homes. There you go. Oh, that's a good one. That'd be great for our postcards we're sending out. We're going to go position, send it back one level, and it's going to go behind our stuff. Size good. There we go. And now we can put our postcard together really, really quick just by using the pictures that are in here stock. Canva can be used for Zoom backgrounds, I believe. Yes, they can. So you can resize this and have your own custom Zoom background image if you want that. So those are some of my top apps. Any questions or thoughts on any of those? Tell me some of your favorite apps while I'm switching screens, because I got some other tips I want to throw at you. What's some of the apps or programs that y'all like to use? Okay. Y'all have gotten shy again. Okay. All right. All right. Trello is really good. We use Asana a lot too. So look, somebody mentioned Trello. So that's a task management program to help you keep up with all your tasks and everything. Asana is more of a team group. So if you've gotten a transaction coordinator or anything like that, Asana is great for doing projects, keeping comments together and keeping everybody on the same page. That's really good. I live out of my Google Calendar. So I have a transaction coordinator. We have a process now. If I have a listing appointment, I just put it on my calendar, listing appointment. I put in the name, the property address, and I tag my transaction coordinator on it. And then she knows, get the paperwork ready to go. And when the paperwork is ready, it goes straight into Zip Forms and we're off and running. So I want to give you some tips and tricks on Zip Forms if y'all would like that. So y'all use Zip Forms? Zip Forms Docusign? All right. This was actually one of the first classes that I ever taught when I first started teaching, was getting the most out of Zip Forms and Docusign. So that is a full hour-and-a-half long class, but I'm going to show you some tips here to help you streamline all of your stuff. So as you can tell, this is actually my, wow, I need to clean it up, Zip Forms account. So the number one thing I'm going to tell you that some people still do not have that you need to is, if you use Zip Forms and Docusign, you have to make sure you have them linked together. Okay. Do you have your accounts linked together? Okay. Very important. If you don't, this is the biggest time saver that you're going to see probably today. So if you're in Zip Forms, go to your profile like I just did and hit profile. Okay. There's your email signature. You can actually copy the one you created and put it in here. John says he thought the first time he learned this was from one of my classes. So awesome. So you're going to go into settings. Right here's where you link everything together. Okay. So if you use DocuSign, click the button here. You'll put in your DocuSign username and password. And now Zip Forms and DocuSign will talk to each other. Okay. So now once this linked together, when you have a transaction, all you have to do is click e-sign, put in the people's information, and you're instantly in DocuSign. All right. You don't have to download them as PDFs. You don't have to do any of that. It automatically talks together and just works so much better. The other setting that I would tell you that I do is the landing screen. I do not like logging into Zip Forms and getting that dashboard that tells you all this stuff that's going on. Y'all know what I'm talking about? If I was the designer of Zip Forms, it would probably have 3 buttons. because I don't want to spend a lot of time in Zip Forms. I want to get in, get my forms done and be done and everything. And so I changed my landing screen to go directly to my transaction list, not the dashboard, okay? Because I got other things to keep up with besides that dashboard. So when you do this, now when you log in, it takes you directly to your transactions, okay? Now, I don't know what all how y'all are using Zip Forms and all. Are y'all using templates? Templates. Do y'all use templates in Zip Forms? Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you are not using templates. Anybody? Okay. You're not using templates at all. All right. Templates are a huge, huge, huge time saver. Okay. So if I would design Zip Forms, I would have 2 buttons right here. I would get rid of all this other stuff, and I would have transactions and I would have templates. That's it. Okay. Transactions are your specific deals, like what you see right here. Deals, deals, deals. Templates are the forms that you use every single time when you do a deal. All right. So if you've never used templates before, what you want to do, go into templates. You see how it's turned green? These R stand for residential. This is a residential template. All right. You can probably put together 70, maybe 80% of your forms, because there's only a little bit that changes when you actually do a deal, right? 70% of the forms the same. Your firm information, your location, all of that fun stuff, the paperwork that you put together. So let's do a template real quick, since some of y'all don't do this. We're in templates. I'm going to do a new template. This is going to be a new listing. Obviously, that's a listing template. A new offer to purchase. Let's do a new listing. Okay. This is my listing template. Okay. I'm going to call it class test listing, and it's going to be residential. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to build out the forms that we use every single time we do a residential listing. Okay. You can see here, I have no documents in here. So what's the form that we need? What's the very first one we need? Come on.
Working with real estate agents.
Good. Now it's old working with real estate agents, because we got a new one coming out. Good times, good times. But we're going to do the old one for now. There's that. What else do we need? Maybe a listing agreement. Exclusive right to sell, listing agreement. We're going to put that in there. That's commercial, but pretend it's not. What else do we need? Maybe a copy of the offer to purchase. Remember that? But this is a copy, right? So here's what we need to do. We don't need to just put a blank one, because it's not a good idea to give out blank forms, right? So I've typed in offer to purchase. I'm not going to click this one. I'm going to go over to this little arrow here, and I'm going to hit print sample, okay? And what's going to happen is I've got an offer to purchase with sample across it. Pretty cool, right? Now, I don't want to print this. I want it to be part of my paperwork every single time. So I'm going to download it, and it's going to be called sample offer. You'll see where this is such a time saver in just a second. Sample offer. Obviously, I've done this before. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my template that I'm building out. Okay, and I want to go to add document. Add document. Browse for the document. And it was sample offer, goes in right there. Okay. Now I have my sample offer. Okay. So now build this out. You also need professional services disclosure, questions and answers on home inspections, and anything else that you want to do in your packets. Okay. Before we exit the templates, go in and fill out all the information that stays the same every time. Okay. Do not, we're in templates. You've got to keep them separate. In a template, do not put specific person's information like your clients. If you do, you'll get to change it every single time. Okay. You do this for your listings, do this for your buyers. Me, I have one for my property management as well. So now whenever I have a transaction, I just apply that template to the transaction, and 70% of my forms are complete.
Mark, several of us are using Loop, and I know in our office, we've weighed the pros and cons and advantages, disadvantages of all of the different programs out there. Can you speak to that?
I don't use .loop, and I just wouldn't because of who owns it.
Because of what?
Who owns it?
Oh, yeah, okay. That's one of those.
That's the biggest con to why
Yeah.
I wouldn't use it, because technically they could have access to everything that you put in there. And that yeah. So I've always been DocuSign and Zip Forms. .loop, it's a great program from what I hear. It does a lot of the exact same features that we're talking about, but I just, especially since, that's a licensed firm now and everything. So yeah, that's my only con, really. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Mark, while you're in Zip Forms and you talked about downloading forms into a folder, basically, a time saver that I have is I have a folder that has the questions and answers about home inspections, the sample, professional services disclosure, and the sample offer to purchase, which are all referred to in the buyer's agent agreement and the listing agent agreement.
Yep.
And sometime early on in a conversation, email conversation or whatever, I will send those as attachments, and I've got them right there for easy access, and just let people know you're going to be referring to these. It's going to ask if you've received copies of these. So here it is now. And if you can't sleep, read it.
Well, and exactly. And this all comes down, that's a great workflow. This all comes down to building your workflow that works best for you. Now, I include all of that in my template, like what I just said, like I just showed you. So typically what I do it a couple different ways, but most of the time when I'm first meeting with somebody, or I'm going to say I'm coming to meet you next week at your house, I go ahead and I email those disclosures, property disclosure statement, all of that. I send it as an email. A lot of times what I like doing is I'll email it directly from Zip Forms, and I'll say, listen, the paperwork you're about to sign refers to these forms. You don't have to sign these. I just want you to have them, but I'm getting ready to send you a DocuSign form that you will need to sign. So I send that email out because it's all tracked and I can tell it, and prepare them that, hey, you're getting ready to need to sign something. So it all comes down to kind of how your workflow goes and all of that. I have been fortunate enough now, I have a transaction coordinator that handles all of that. But before I got to this point, that's exactly what I was doing with kind of the workflow and everything. So great point. Any other thoughts or comments on Zip Forms? Okay, I'll show you real quick because I want to show you some tips in DocuSign. Do any of y'all give me a thumbs up if you use DocuSign? Okay, a couple people. Most of y'all are .loop. Okay, they work the exact same way. So I'm gonna give you some tips. Maybe you can try in .loop as well. So I'm in a test transaction here, buyer bill. I'm gonna show you. You can click a couple buttons here. Actually, go to eSign. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it into DocuSign so you can kind of see how it works. New transaction. What are we getting signed? I want to say working with agents in the buyer agency agreement. That's all we're getting signed. I'm going to click next. This is gearing me up to go directly in to DocuSign. I'm going to put the selling agent, me, buyer bill, hit close, the order, which we'll talk about in just a second. I'm going to hit next. Now that I've linked the accounts together, it's going to take me directly into DocuSign, and we'll pretty much be ready to start doing signatures here. So on this screen, I want to show you some tips here. If you use DocuSign or .loop, kind of works the same way. I wish, I'm going to fix this because that's just zoomed in way too close. I wish Zip Forms did not take you directly to this screen in DocuSign, because there's so much cool stuff that you can do one screen before. So typically when I'm at this stage, never, ever, ever click this button up here because it'll mess everything up. Click this button to go back. So I'm going to go back one page. Now I can start doing more stuff. .loop works the exact same way. If there's some other forms on here that I want to get signed, now's the time to add them in there. What's some additional things I might want to send here? Like a septic permit, right? Hey, just initial you received this septic permit. Who's that covering, right? A proposal for the bypass that's going to be coming through the backyard of the house sometime in 10 years. Put all of this disclosure stuff in and have them initial that they received it. Down here in the signing order. So you can change this around. So let's pretend that me and Buyer Bill are business partners here and we both need to sign. Right now, it's going to go to me and it's going to wait. The minute I sign it, then it's going to go to Buyer Bill. I don't recommend that because it's going to take it longer to get back to me. All right. So usually when I send out signing order, I'm going to go 1-1 and send it to both people at the same time. If you can do that, you'll get it back a lot quicker. And then to really be efficient, I'm going to add in here other people. Like, for example, Nancy. Nancy is my assistant. Okay. So I want her to get a copy of everything when it's done. She does not need to sign anything. She receives a copy. So now, when these are both signed, Nancy's last in line, she's going to get a copy of the signed form. If you really want to get creative, you can add whoever you want. You could add the other agent in here. I love using DocuSign on all of these because if you've taken your CE class, mandatory update, we talk about contracts. When is a contract under, when are you under contract? When technically are you under contract? Sent or received? The mailbox rule, you remember all of that, is technically when it is sent. The minute you put it in the mailbox and close it, you could be under contract. Is this important to know when you have $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 in due diligence? Yes, very important to know how that all works and everything. So I could have it set up, if this is an offer being signed, the minute my seller signs it, a copy has been sent to the other agent. I have a copy, it has been sent. We are officially under contract. Because this is what happened to one of my deals recently. I received an offer at 8 o'clock one night with about a $5,000 due diligence fee. I called my client, I messaged my client and said, I got an offer. Can we talk about it? He says, no, I'm really tired. Let's talk at 9 in the morning. I said, fine, we'll talk at 9 in the morning. At 8:30 in the morning, the buyer's agent called me to say they changed their mind. They've withdrawn their offer. What if they would have electronically signed everything at 9 o'clock the night before? What would they have gotten? The due diligence fee, right? So this is the kind of things we're seeing in this market. So, and by using something like DocuSign and setting the other agent to receive a copy, you have a paper trail of everything on that, okay? So once you do that, set it however you want. There's one more tip I'll tell you. It's a very basic tip, but it's one I wish I'd have learned a long time ago. So when you're filling this out for people, like the mineral and oil rights, right? You have two people a lot of times, and you have to draw the initial over here, and then you go up and you got to change it to the other person, and you got to draw their initial, like the mineral and oil rights, and there's like 6 lines you have to do that to, right? It's time consuming. So one day I was doing it, and I'm like, you know, it would be really nice if I could just highlight both of them, right click and hit copy, and then just hit paste, paste, paste. And now I can just drag them to wherever they need to go. And I just knocked off 2 or 3 minutes dragging them back and forth. Pretty cool. Very basic. But you could basically now, since you've copied them, scroll to the bottom, hit paste to location. There's your initials. Scroll on down, paste to location. There's your initials, and just run through a form that way instead of going back and forth.
Mark, in Dotloop, for anybody who's using that, they have the same kind of feature where you can highlight and right click and then just check off each of those, and it will it's a little bit different, but if you highlight on those areas where people need to initial, just go down one column and do that, and all the initials will show up, and then go down the second column and do it. It's like a 2-step process, but it makes it so much easier.
Much easier, isn't it? Yep. Yep. Awesome. So that's where the copies and paste and everything goes on that. So those are some of the tips I wanted to show you. I've got about 8 minutes. I want to share with y'all a little bit of social media stuff, just some tips and tricks, things to know. I want to share with y'all one of my most favorite marketing things that I have been doing lately. And then I'm happy to hang around and answer any questions that y'all might have. So I'm going to give you a couple tips on, if you're using this small little website starting to catch on, called Facebook. I don't know if y'all have heard about it or not, but there's this site called Facebook. So here's my business page, Saunders Realty. The #1 tip I tell people all the time is, if you're doing video, upload the video. I'm trying to find one that I've done recently. Haven't done one lately, but try to upload the video directly to Facebook. Okay. Like this one. You see how it auto plays? when you come across it. Give me a thumbs up if y'all can see my screen here. Awesome. Awesome. So Facebook wants everything to be on their servers. So if you upload it directly to Facebook, one, they will autoplay it just like that. And I actually had the same shirt on when I made that video. It's kind of confusing. But also they will push it up so more people will view it. A lot of people just link it directly to YouTube. Facebook does not like that, and they actually will push your views down, okay? So anytime you can directly upload things directly to Facebook, you will get more views. Now, my favorite marketing thing that I've been doing now for a couple years, and it's really cool. I got a text message before class about it. Do you know in Facebook, you can go onto your personal Facebook page, click on your events, and see everybody's birthday? Y'all know how you get the birthday updates and everything? So I stole this idea from well, I'll call it borrow it. I borrowed this idea from a good friend that's an agent here in Winston-Salem. He sends out these things in the mail called birthday cards, and they actually have stamps on them and everything, because people overlook some of the old school stuff. But I like taking kind of new technology, because we got a lot of data on people, and combining it with some of the old school things. So what we've been doing now for a couple of years, and it's worked great, is any of our database that we have, any of my friends that I'm personally friends with, we look at Facebook and see when their birthday is. We mail them a birthday card in the mail, and we normally include a $1 lottery ticket. And we say something cheesy like, we hope you have a grand of a year or something. And I have gotten more. It cost me $1 lottery ticket, a card we get off Amazon in bulk, and lottery tickets. And I have gotten more emails and comments. I actually had a message come through right before class from somebody saying, thanks so much for my birthday card. I won $5. And, you know, just staying in front of people, it's a fun way to do it. And that's using information that's on here. And it kind of gets you thinking, what's some other things you can do? So if one of your friends on Facebook says, hey, we're so excited, we're having a baby, comment on there, because most people will, and give them a thumbs up. Maybe send them a congratulation card that says, congratulations on the news. If the room gets, the house gets a little too small, let me know. I'm here to help, smiley face or something, because they're telling you everything here. You know, how can you just kind of reach out, not be selling at all or anything, but make that connection? That's where their information, that's what they're telling you and everything. So there's the 2 tips I'll tell you. Look what people are posting and just be nice to people. It's a great thing that works out really well. So questions, comments, did we cover enough? Have I overloaded anybody? No? Good. Rachel says no, she's ready to keep rolling, it looks like. So, all right. I've got time for questions and answers on basically anything. If y'all have any questions or comments on systems, procedures, I'm kind of a systems person. I like documenting all that stuff and everything. So any questions that you have on anything?
Well, in absence of questions, I just want to say thank you very much. This was absolutely wonderful. And I'm sure that we're all not overloaded at all, but ready to go out and play with some of the programs that you've suggested. Thank you, Mark, for teaching our members today. And thank you all for joining us.
I see one question you just popped in. I'm sorry. It says, what do you use for video site to use an MLS? Yes, you cannot use YouTube in our area. So BombBomb actually allows you to upload the videos directly to their server. So if we're doing video tours or anything, I can post a unbranded video link using my BombBomb account into MLS. So when they click that, it plays it, but it's not branded or anything. I have 2 versions, a branded version and a non-branded. Use that in MLS. So great, that answers your question. Let's see if there was anything else. Yeah, cool. I think that was it.
All right, great. Well, I look forward to playing around with some of these programs, Mark. This was excellent, wonderful, and I think we're all going to enjoy some of your upcoming classes as well. And I do look forward to all of you who are perhaps going to be joining us for some of our OCHAR's awesome sessions in June. We're going to be kicking our June sessions off with North Carolina Realtors webinar, Impact of Pandemic on the Real Estate and Economic Outlook, on June 9th. and that's at 1 p.m. So we do want to make sure to make a note on the calendar for that wonderful program as well. In the meantime, I hope you all have a fabulous day and a great weekend as well. Go out there and enjoy the pretty weather if you can. Thanks again, and bye-bye. And
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.